What's up? What's happening, TPE book family? Let's see here. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I'll make sure we're live here. Yes, we are live. Very good, very good. What's up and what's happening, TPE book fam? So glad to be with you guys this morning. We are live with our weekly book study. We go live every Monday at 6:45 a.m. Covering the book that we are going through for the month. So this is our second month. We are on our second book. First month in January, we canvassed and covered Atomic Habits by James Clear, which we learned about the science of habits and how habits can shape and form what we do and help us be more successful. Honestly, I think I went through that study, and I don't know if anybody out there who went through that study with us. I mean, I think I had a wonderful time going through that material and really just getting better at being a person who drives habits and drives behaviors around what we do, and how I can get incrementally better through just how habits. And this month we're on Dr. Eric Thomas's UOU. So this is the book that we're covering this month, and we're going through chapter 7, 8, and 9. So for those of you who are not on our private Facebook community, please just comment "I want in" and we'll definitely get you there. We'll have a recap of the month study on Wednesday, and all the direct information is there in the group, just to let you guys know, so y'all can kind of get in the group and figure out how we're delivering that information and be a part of the conversation. And so I'm not going to be long-winded today. I'm going to try not to be, at least. I always say that, and I kind of tend to go over. But today we're canvassing, again, chapter 7, 8, and 9. Next Monday, we'll be canvassing just chapter 10 and then doing an overall recap of the book study. And then this week, if you pay attention to my socials, whether that's Instagram, at Alex_Seal, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, Facebook, we'll be talking about the upcoming book for March. And so I'm just thankful for the book club, because now I'm almost done with our second book of the year. I mean, we're on pace to do 12 books this year. And so that's going to be more books that I believe I've personally read in a 12-month span that I've read in a long time. So definitely growing and getting better. And hopefully those of you guys out here who are participating with us are getting better as well. So number one, chapter 7 deals with becoming a triple threat. And I think that one of the bigger premises and points of chapter 7 really deals with you taking the education piece of your whatever your passion and your superpower is, taking that seriously. I think oftentimes we believe that once we've identified what our superpower is, the thing that we've been gifted, the talent that we've been given, we identify that, and then we start to figure out what our purpose is. We neglect, once we establish those two things, we neglect the need to continue to sharpen our blades. I think once we arrive to a place to where we've got the LLC formed, we've got the sole proprietorship established, or we've got the partnership done. We've put in and we've put in place just different things that we need to do to get the business started, or to get we got a resume put in, and we got the job, we got the promotion, we got the position. I think once you've done the climbing to get to that place, you forget that you got to continue to improve, and you've got to continue to pursue excellence, and you've got to continue to kind of push yourself to learn more and more and more about what it is that you're doing. I think a lot of times we see great businesses rise, and we see them fail because they neglect, and then this is true to people as well. They neglect to continue to educate themselves about the arena that they're in. They neglect to sharpen their blade, as I like to call it. And the thing about it is, we're living in a time where technology is moving extremely fast. Things continue to get better. Things continue to advance. Opportunities continue to present themselves, and we have to be in a position to be able to receive those things. We have to be in a position to be able able to capture those opportunities, because there is somebody who is watching. Either A, there's somebody watching what you're doing and wanting to emulate those things, and then they're going to look at that, and then and if it aligns with their superpower and their purpose, they're going to try to take it further than you can. And just, you want to stay competitive for your, not only yourself, but for your community and for your space. You want to continue to be relevant. And so I think it's really important for us to consider this idea of continuous improvement and continuously educating ourselves about what it is that we're wanting to do once you've identified what your superpower is and what your purpose is. I think the next piece about chapter 7 is, how are you articulating your gift? How do you express that gift and that superpower? Because I think a lot of times you have to figure out the best medium to do so. Now, one of the biggest I think attributes and things that I feel like we need to gravitate towards, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're trying to get into the business space, is how visible are you? How much do you put yourself out there for other people to see and to hear you? And so that could be via video, that could be audio and via of a podcast, or that could be via a blog, something that people read, or just through the actual work that you do. That could be pictures, that could, photography, videography, whatever it is. You have to get to a place where you're comfortable projecting those things, because no one's going to know who you are. You could be the world's greatest writer. You could be the world's greatest quilt maker. You could be the world's greatest whatever. Unless you're putting yourself out there and you're expressing what that superpower is, no one will ever know what it is. And I think sometimes for us, we get worried about doing that, because either A, we've tried to express ourselves in the past and people have not gravitated towards us like we would like for them to, or we've tried to express ourselves in the past and it hasn't landed, or it wasn't supported as much as we would like for it to be. But you've got to continue to try to work past those things, because a lot of times the people who you're trying to appeal to aren't necessarily in your client. That's not your customer. And so you've got to keep working, and you got to keep pushing until you get to a place to where you identify and you're resonating with the person that's going to actually transact and do business with you. And the last piece of chapter 7 is, are you giving your all to what your gift and superpower is? I think I'm very much so guilty of this, and I think this is going to segue us into chapter 8. But it's like, you get caught up in the good things that you have going on, and it takes away from your ability to pour into the things that you have the possibility to be great in. A lot of, and I'll just segue, go into chapter 8. A lot of the anguish and the success a lot of the heartbreak that Dr. Eric Thomas experienced is what catapulted him from good to great. And in one instance in particular, he was working as a preacher in the church. And his style of delivering, which I can see this if you're familiar with Dr. Eric Thomas, I think you can definitely resonate with this. His delivery is not like anybody else's. The way he presents his messaging and the way he carries himself, it's not like your traditional system. And eventually he was pushed out of that place where he saw the growth. He was integral in what the success of that church was, yet the traditional powers that be forced him out, and which he didn't understand at the time, but now was a tremendous blessing to him, because it forced him to be great. It forced him into another position. And then, my question to y'all is, what is going to force you to the next level? And for me, and I'll just say, like I said, this is a struggle of mine. It's like, you're in a position where you're doing good, and that good that you're doing is enough to support your family. That good that you're doing is enough to support the people around you, and seemingly you look like everything is going well. But inside of me, I feel like there's another level that I'm not getting to. And it's because, do I feel like I'm going as hard as I can? I don't think so. Do I feel like I can pour in more? I can get rid of some distractions. I can get more focus. I can get more discipline. And my answer to all those questions are yes. And it's like, well, what is it going to take for me to want to succeed as much as I want to breathe? And I think that's the kind of the mindset and the mode that you got to be in. You've got to want whatever your superpower is. You've got to pursue implementing that and putting it out there as much as you want to breathe. And so that's something that I feel like all of us probably can do better at. All of us can take note of, is that I think we all have an opportunity to get better and to go harder and put ourselves out there for the world to see. Because like I said, good is, Dr. Eric Thomas more specifically said in the book several times, good is good, but good is not great. I've heard I heard a guy in an interview ask a gentleman, what's the number one thing that stops people from making $1 million a year? And the guy answered the question, $500,000. You think about that. You might have the talent and the skills and the resources within you to go make $1 million a year, but the one thing that will stop you is the good that's presented by 500,000. You reach $500,000 a year and go, man, I'm good. I don't need that million. And that's probably one of the greatest deterrents that any of us have. We get to a place to where, man, we're living life. We're able to go on trips, when, kind of not say when we feel like it, but when the opportunity presents itself, I'm able to provide for my children in a way that I feel is reflective of the work that I do. I'm able to give my wife things that I think she wants, and I'm able to try to position her to capture the things that she wants to capture. We're good, but I don't know if I can truly say where we are is in a place of greatness, or I can't really say that we're in the greatest place that we want to be in. So now it's time for me to put my skills to the test and really say, well, what do we need to do to get to that next level? What do we need to do to push harder, to go harder, to get more? And it's not all about, let me make sure I say this correctly. It's not all about getting more, but how do we get to a place where we're operating in the fullness of the things, the gifts that we feel like we have? I think I'm starting to see that actually in my wife, just her starting to pour more into herself and pour more into the things that she's truly interested in, the things that she truly has a superpower in, and the things that she's truly gifted in. She's starting to get to a place to where, wait, I'm starting to see what greatness looks like in this area, and so I'm very proud to be a part of, number one, to be a part of that process, and number two, to witness it, because you're starting to see what that looks like for somebody else. And then, and then so as you're helping, and this is a great concept to talk about, as you're helping other people do that, they're going to help you achieve that same level of success. My wife is just as a big supporter of mine. So she helps me try to get to the next level, and she asks me challenging questions and gives me challenges to try to push me to that next space. And so it's, what is it, are you wanting this, whatever that is for you, as much as you say you do? Are you putting the actions that behind it that makes that work? And so definitely thinking about sacrificing good for great. Think about the things that you say yes to. Sometimes you say yes to too many things, and you don't have the time to say yes to the things that will make you great. You got to start saying no to good to say yes to great. And then chapter 9, and I'm going to try to wrap this up here. But chapter 9 talks about, you are a business, and I think this is really starting to narrow us in and zone us into the specifics of what direction that we're wanting to go in as individuals. What type of business do you want to be in? What type of business do you want to start? And really getting specific and getting concentrated on what direction that we want to go in. And I think the next part of this chapter kind of is what really gets to me is like, are you consistently putting yourself into miracle territory for the area of life that you want to be in? And so are you consistently, if I say I want to be a motivational speaker, how many conferences have I attended? How many mentors or coaches have I approached about this idea? How much feedback have I received about the content that I'm putting out? Am I just spinning my wheels, or do I see the purpose in what I'm doing? For me, personally, I look at these opportunities that I get in front of the camera to speak, or to whether it's this content directly or other pieces of content, is to get more reps and more practice in, trying to fine tune my voice, trying to fine tune my cadence of delivery, trying to fine tune just the little things that I notice in my conversation, whether it's the stumbling over the words, or saying too many times, or talking too fast, as I'm sure I'm doing that right now. But it's just one of those things of, what am I doing to look at myself to give myself self-improvement in terms of the feedback that I can get, and then what other feedback am I getting from other people, and then am I, in addition to that, am I putting myself in places where people who are either A, trying to do the same thing that I'm doing, or B, have succeeded at the thing that I'm trying to do? Where are those individuals at? Where are those people at? Am I aligning myself with those folks and getting into the same spaces and places that they're at? And so, I think that is a huge piece to chapter 9, is just, what is it that you're wanting to do? Are you putting yourself in miracle territory to be able to receive those things? And then lastly, are you, who are you listening to and what are you listening to? There's YouTube, there's the podcast platforms, there's books, there's all kinds of mechanisms and information out there that will help you get to the next level. Are you taking advantage of those things? Are you consuming that content? I think I love where we are from a societal standpoint. The digital landscape is huge. However, it just as big of an asset that it can be, it also can be a liability if you're not using it correctly. So, man, appreciate you guys rocking with us this morning. Hopefully something was said that would help you get to the next level, help you pivot to your next. Again, we'll be here next Monday at 6:45, where we're canvassing the last chapter of this book, chapter 10 of You Owe You. We'll release the title of our upcoming book this week on all of our platforms. And we definitely look forward to hanging out with you guys again. And until next time, guys,